I'm finally back onto the home theatre PC business with trying to get the HDMI to work. Just briefly, this is the Intel NUC, which is basically a computer in a small box. Now the problem was that the 4K going through my receiver was never happy. The receiver just does not like computer signals. Bit of a shame, but that's the way it is. So my thought was to bypass the receiver for the video and split off the audio to the receiver so that I could get the surround sound, Atmos, blah blah, and have the projector happy with the normal PC signal coming through the HDMI. And it sort of works. As usual, HDMI is nothing but a pain in the butt. It really is. Certain things have to be done not necessarily the right way, but a way, or it just doesn't want to work at all. And getting the audios to work with the right number of channels and so on, it's never ending. So I've set up the software to put out 7.1. It doesn't know about Atmos really. That's something else again. I've tried playing back Atmos files, and the best I can do is 7.1. Now, that may change in the future. Maybe I'll update the graphics for it. I don't know. They claim it'll do Atmos and so on, so maybe it is. But anyway, at least 5.1 and even 7.1 is pretty good through this. And if I want real Atmos, I've got my 4K discs, which comes up as Dolby Atmos on the receiver. But from here, it just comes up as multi-channel, and 5.1 or 7.1, that's it. So that's all right. I'm okay to accept that for the time being. If I can get that to reliably work in surround, that's fine. So what have I done? Bit hard to see here, but the HDMI out of the NUC goes into a splitter. It's powered by USB, and the USB is actually powered from the NUC, so whenever the NUC's off, it's not being utilized. So this splitter, it's a Simplecom CM412, and I've got one HDMI cable going to the receiver input for audio, and the other HDMI coming out and into the switcher. This one here, the output is the actual projector. So I can select the output of the receiver or the output of the NUC. And it sort of works, but every now and again something won't work, and you have to reboot or restart something. It's a little bit more reliable now that I swapped over the cables on the Simplecom. One possibility in the future, and I don't know if they're available, but this NUC has lots of really good outputs insofar as USB A, USB-C, and Lightning, I think it is, there, and even on the front it has a Lightning here and a USB-A type there. Rather than this normal splitter, what I really need is a splitting box that just separates video from the audio. oh, I'll have to have a look and see what about that. Because that's really all I want it for, is to be able to split the audio off properly. The only time I get the word Atmos up on the receiver is from the 4K player. So I think 7.1 is probably the best that I can do from these file-based formats from the PC. I think I was misleading myself thinking that I could play proper Atmos files and have the receiver register it as Atmos. Maybe one day when I learn a lot more I may be able to do that, but it would appear as though 7.1 is about the best you can get, and I can tell that my receiver, the NUC and the bits and pieces I'm using, and if I get this mini DSP, 7.1 will work fine. I have a little issue with crackling in the audio, which might be, once again, bad power supplies or cables that aren't good enough, but I'll work on that over time. But having the Intel NUC there as a source for most of this stuff is such an achievement. It really makes a difference. I've pretty much given up on the Raspberry Pi for audio and all of the other Android type devices. They're just a waste of time in my opinion, unless you have a really simple setup that you can pin down and say, okay, that works well. Like for example the Raspberry Pi, I may set it up in my computer room, or maybe in my garage or somewhere else where I want to be able to play music, etc. But for my main room in here, I think this new NUC and the associated stuff that goes with it will work really well. It's an ongoing effort, and I think that's a good thing. Well, hopefully you can hear the crackles in the audio. I've tried desperately to try and locate the source of it. I've tried changing HDMI cables, etc., etc., rebooting, removing certain options in Windows, changing options on the receiver. I've spent many hours on this, and I just can't seem to get rid of the crackles. Now the only thing that's left is the splitter. But the amazing thing is, I don't need to use the switcher to switch between the receiver and the NUC. I found by just having the splitter as a kind of buffer from the NUC to the input of the receiver, does everything I need. So obviously the receiver is not fully compatible with PC stuff, but going through the splitter is buffering it, and it's in 4K. There you go. It's 384 by 2160, so it's fine. So, but audio. So I'm thinking that the only solution, well, one of two solutions. One is to try another splitter, and hopefully that will fix it, because it's all I can see is that's the only thing in between, unless it's the PC itself, the NUC, that's causing the interference. But it seems to be related to volume. The louder something is, you hear the crackles, and when it's dead quiet, like right now, there's no no crackles at all. Leads me to think that it's a matter of crosstalk in the wiring, but I've tried all the different cables and the only thing left is the actual splitter. So as I say, one of two solutions is to get another splitter, and hopefully that will work. They're cheap enough, so it could well be worthwhile me trying that, but it just takes time to get one. You know,